Roadbreak family, how's every single one of you? Welcome to another episode of our show, and this time we're going to be focusing on like the first pay-per-view from Impact Wrestling of 2023, a Hard to Kill, a show that actually was main evented by Mickie James and Jordynne Grace for the Knockouts Championship. Because we all thought that like Mickie was gonna lose and maybe have to retire because this stipulation that they have for this match was like the streak against the title against the career of Mickie James, but like they made it actually be very serious about it. They focus on that. So aside of that, a lot of good matches, a lot of action, and Impact starts to me this 2023 with like a pretty interesting concept of professional wrestling, Paul.
Yeah, Impact Wrestling, like you said, the first pay per view of the year comes on Friday the 13th, Heart to Kill. So they had that spooky kind of Jason Voorhees, that hardcore vibe. And lots of matches, whether they were Falls Count Anywhere or like the Mayhem match that just started the show with Alexander and Bully Ray. I mean, some great stuff here on the show. I always say at Impact Wrestling, maybe some of the booking is a little silly, this and that, some of the stuff, but you really focus on the main event scene here. I would say Josh Alexander to me is a great champion, and in that main event, man, that was awesome. I think they had everybody hooked. Whether you thought Mickie James was going to win, lose, we're going to talk about the results when we get there. But I mean, great, show to start out the year, and I'm excited. I always, root for Impact, so I'm excited to see them grow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And thank you family for being with us one more time. Thank you for keep supporting us. Don't forget to keep doing that in all the social media waves. And like you said, this show started out with like tribute to Don West because all the wrestlers, the whole locker room came out, paying tribute to the guy that like was one of the founders of Impact Wrestling. That was cool, and the guy deserves it. He was like he had a lot of passion, a lot of joy, a lot of intensity for like this business, and especially for Impact. He was one with alongside Mike Tenay, like they had a really nice commentary
Yeah,
team.
and he was one of the guys where like when you listen to him, he was everything he said. Like he could sell you water if you were floating in the middle of the ocean. I mean,
Yes.
he was just so excited about everything, and he was on the Home Shopping Network selling baseball cards and all that stuff. That's where he really had his claim to fame. They even made fun of him on SNL. That's how famous he was on the Home Shop Network. And then Jeff Jarrett brought him on and this and that, and he dealt with some shit. Oh, you don't know wrestling, you're bullshit. But I mean, he won the people over. They loved him. I loved here the 10 bell salute they did for Don West. I mean, that was great. They brought out the whole roster, and he was one of those guys who, him and today, that to me they're one of the top commentary teams. I mean, they're no Ross and the King, they're no Gorilla and Heenan, but I mean they're up there for me.
They're
They
out there,
they,
yeah.
they had
And,
really
and
good
Mike
chemistry.
Tenay, like he was a really great commentator, or like he called the action and everything. So I feel like why not? Like they had a really good thing going, and like you said, they were able
Definitely.
to put a lot of the guys that we enjoy right now. A lot of the people that we see on TV every single time. They were the first ones that gave him the first opportunity. Like you said, the pay per view started out with the Impact World Championship. So this is something that Impact is trying to do. For example, from AEW, like kind of have like the main event that you will always call it as like the first match. And this is like the full metal mayhem, Bully Ray and Josh Alexander for the Impact Championship. This match had a little bit of everything, Paul. Like of course it's gonna be hardcore, it's gonna be bloody, it's gonna be, a different style of match, but like also Josh Alexander is able to mix the pro wrestling aspect of it, like locks and the ankle lock, and Bully is always good when it comes to like pace it out. So they tell us a really good story. I thought that like he was gonna win the championship, but Josh Alexander shows that like one more time he's probably one of the best Impact champions, and his run as champion is very credible.
Yeah, they said he had the longest reign as Impact champion, and he hasn't even had the title for over a whole year. So I don't know if there was maybe a Impact TNA
Yeah,
champion
they
or
are probably
NWA.
different.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel like there had to have been a longer title reign than that with like a Kurt Angle or a
Mm.
Sting or somebody. But regardless, they did compare him to Kurt Angle, which obviously those comparisons are there with the singlet and that the super
Exactly.
athletic wrestling background. But no, one thing I want to touch on, you said I don't think this has anything to do with copying AEW. You ask 90 or 100 wrestling fans, and I feel over 75% of them are going to say between the two matches, Mickie James title versus career, or this match with Bully Ray, which one's the main event? It's the Mickie James.
Yeah.
So that one, and you're not going to put this right before that, because then that kills people for the Mickie James Jordan Grace match. So you almost have to do one at the start, one at the end. So obviously the Mickie James, everything she's done in the wrestling business, she deserves the main event. And I thought this was a good open to the show, kind of set the tone for, like you said, the hardcore, everything like that. They like to call back the ECW. Obviously you had a lot of that here. Tommy Dreamer came out. You thought, oh my God, he's gonna, is he gonna side with Bully Ray?
With Bully Ray, or he's gonna side with Josh Alexander.
But then he goes, no, he's sticking to his guns, because he was begging Josh Alexander, no, forgive me. I'm legit. I'm babyface. He shows him he is. But then he gets sent through a table for his troubles. Then Josh Alexander's wife comes out, even though he said, don't be here because it's going to be bullshit. You can't trust Bully Ray. Bully Ray gets her in the ring. He said, give me your wedding ring, blah, blah, blah. I thought he was going to tell her to do something, maybe that X-rated we shouldn't see. I don't know what the heck was going on here. It was getting crazy. But he said, give me your ring, give me your ring. She said, no. He said, all right, then you're dead, bitch, or something like that. And he picked up the garbage can. He was going to, crush her skull. She nut shots him. He gets out of, or then she hits almost like the move Spike Dudley used to do.
Yeah, the sliced bread.
Yeah. She hits that on him, cuts the zip ties on Alexander. Like you said, to me, the biggest bullshit of it was they did every gimmick under the sun, so it was extremely overbooked. But that's just it. It was what it was.
That's the type of the match.
But I didn't like how he did that big spot through the tables that would have killed him, and Bully kicks out just to tap out to the ankle lock. Like, really? just be done.
And we had a tag team came out, right? The two guys, and then they did the 3D on Josh Alexander. So that's what I thought it was going to be over. But I mean, like you said, sometimes it's like the biggest move, they don't sell it, and that's very annoying. Like the biggest move, that's where you should be. It should be over. And then to like the. Probably a move that like you wouldn't think that like they're gonna like tap out or like count the count of 3 for it. They ended up doing it, but at least Bully is able to put Josh Alexander even more over than what it was. There was a report like they asked him in an interview, have you talked to Ethan Page? After like AEW, he's like, no, I haven't talked to him ever since we had the last match here on Impact. That's coming like 2 years ago. So there you go. That tells you like how much his mind for the business and Ethan Page's. And we've said that many times, but like him is very credible. He's got a lot of good contenders, Christian. He's got now Bully Ray, Moose. I like his run as champion, and also he remains in character, kayfabe. He's not all like out there like putting his stuff on social media. So at least to me that shows that like how much of a wrestler he is.
Oh yeah, because he's he is who he is. He's a man. He's a father. He's a husband. And his job is, I'm going to put my singlet on. I'm going to put my, my head strap on, whatever he has. And I'm going to go out there. I'm going to kick some ass
and provide for my family. Champion. Exactly. So that's what
he's not a gimmick. He is who he is. So
no, exactly. So I like that. And like I said, it was a good match. It had like the thumbtack. Yes. It had a lot of the like the gimmick stuff, but it was enjoyable. We saw blood. That's what at least in these type of matches you need to have that, whether you liked it or not. So, maybe it wasn't, like overexposed or overly done, but at least we saw a little bit of it. Tell me a little bit about this, because it was a fatal 4-way for the tag team championships. We got to see in the machine,
Motor City.
Gun Kelly is like the Motor City machine guns. And then we got to see the major players, Matt Cardona and, Brian Myers one more time together. Major players, the name I don't know, but Kid and Rhino, and also Ace Austin and Chris Bay. Really, really good match. We saw a lot of like European falls. Out of all these teams, there's like 3 of them that like I really enjoy. Rhino and Heath, like from the days of SmackDown. The Motor City Machine Guns, probably one of the best tag teams in the whole world. And the major players, Cardona and Brian Myers, separate. They're even good like singles guys, and together I feel that like they give like the friendship, all the brotherhood that they have. They made them interesting. So I enjoy this really much. And, for me, Shelly and, Chris Sabin, they're always bring something else to the table. To me, like they should have more than what actually they accomplish. That's only my opinion, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, you think, oh my God, these guys have been in Impact since 2006 at least, and it's like, you got to think, oh my God, it's like, why do you keep, putting these guys? Why are they the champs? Why don't you put other teams over? But I mean, look at them; they might still be the best tag team in the ring, and none of these tag teams are slouches. I mean, this was good. You had it's Heath Slater and Rhino. They were the former champs. Maybe trying to get their belts back. The major players, their heels. I was rooting for them. They're my boys, but I thought, maybe you should put it on them, but in a scramble match like this where it's just everybody's going at it, I don't really care for them, especially the rules that they do here, where it's not one guy from each team. It's only one guy from two teams, and then the other two teams just stand on the ring apron like idiots.
So
I mean, to me, that's so stupid. That's copying a WWE booking. And speaking of WWE, this is a major problem with Impact right now for me. When they had Matt Stryker and D'Lo Brown, that was like amazing. That was
that was
great.
probably the best. Yes.
Now this sounds like I'm watching 205 Live. You have fucking Aiden English and the fucking what's the other
Tom Phillips.
The WWE clones. You know, they suck. I'm sorry. Aiden English is maybe okay with a D'Lo Brown, but with Tom Phillips, garbage. He sucks. You know, and
He's
he
not
sucks
good.
so much. Yeah, and I like the guy as a human being, but on commentary, it just sounds like I'm watching WWE. You know,
Again.
I met him. He's an awesome guy, but commentary wise, no, it's not good. But you know, this is just it just made the whole show feel weird, and the whole they're fighting before the bell, so the match hasn't begun. They did that in the opening match. They did that here, and it just is so stupid. The whole theme of the show is hardcore, hard to kill. It should just be as soon as a punch lands, ring the bell, ding, 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 the match is on. Even if the other guys aren't out, run to the ring because the match is on.
Exactly. So like, you know,
but I like this match, you know, not to go into the details. I just had to mention that because it is a theme through the whole show, the commentary. I just don't like it. Let us know in the comments how you guys feel. But I mean, the match was good. It was eliminations, which I like. Heath Slater and Rhino, unfortunately, they got eliminated first. You know, major players pinned them. Then I believe it was the Motor City Machine Guns. They pinned. Was it the
Bay and Ace Austin?
Oh yeah, the Bullet Club 2000 or whatever they're called. They pinned them. To me, they were the weakest link, even though they're both great, you know, wrestlers. Why
they're not a tag team? So
yeah, and why are they banking off the Bullet Club? The Bullet Club to me is so niche. It was only really popular when it had the Bucks and Omega and like AJ Styles and Finn Balor and all them.
Now it's just like it's a dead concept, you know. It's they keep like it's like they will keep having the NWO. You know, everybody just joins. You can be whoever, and then you can join to the NWO. The same thing. I agree with you. I don't know why they did not change the name.
The Motor City Machine Guns, I mean, bell to bell, talent-wise, they're still one of the best teams, if not the best team that Impact Wrestling has. So the fact that they won, I was fine with that.
Yeah, it was good, and like, you know, Impact Zone. So that's what I also like. I'm happy
and
with.
Speaking of Impact Zone, I believe it was after this match. If not, it don't matter because it doesn't really affect the show. Yes, Kazarian. He came out. He cut a good promo, kind of similar to like an Adam Cole promo we heard on Dynamite a couple days ago. But he pretty much said like, hey, you know, I had to go away, think about some stuff, this and that, my future. You know, you didn't know what he was going to do. And then he pretty much said, but I signed, you know, a contract extension with Impact Wrestling. And then even there, you know, then Tom Phillips was like, hell yeah, you know, he was hyped up. So there I'm like, okay, that was all right. Can you just kind of bring that same energy when you're doing commentary, not sound like, you know, Michael Cole when Vince McMahon was still in his ear? But anyway, okay, I promise I'm done with the commentary now. But anyway, back to this. I mean, Frankie Kazarian, they were doing jack all or nothing with him on AEW. He was good when he was with Scorpio Sky. And they were SCU, you know, okay, that was over a little bit. Christopher Daniels is now backstage. Scorpio Sky is a clown doing who knows what. And now Frankie Kazarian is here in Impact. So to me, the winner is Frankie Kazarian. Out of all three of them guys, Kazarian, I mean, he's doing what he loves. He's here in Impact. And I think he's going to put on some great matches.
And also, we know it, like you said, we know that how good of a wrestler he is. Unfortunately, maybe promo or like a character, you know, there was never anything that will be, I mean, an attention gather. But
in the world of wrestling right now, I think there's too many characters. We need more people that are just real. That's why, like we say, Josh Alexander is good. That's why I got like MJF. Even though MJF is a heel and he's a little gimmicky, he is always like that. So it seems real.
So he seems more real, like he's real.
That's why we like MJF. But you know, Frankie Kazarian, the line here, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. And he said, I want to rock and roll, and I'm ready to go to the top. So you got to think he's going for Josh Alexander.
And, you know, like, for example, you know, Paul, like, one of the things that Kazarian never won was the Impact Championship. I'm not saying put the belt right away on the guy, but, like, create a nice storyline for him because he's one of your own. One of, like, the first talents that, like, Impact developed.
Yeah, or at least don't do a throwaway Thursday night, Kazarian versus Josh Alexander for the belt. No, build it up for a pay-per-view, you know, for something legit. that people get excited, get invested for.
No, yeah, exactly. So I like that. I absolutely agree on that. So like the next match that we saw is like we believe in John Henry. That's funny. Like the guy's actually decent in the ring, and going against Moose for the Digital Media Championship. Good match. I enjoyed this, and again, like, see, for example, John Henry is like you said, a character. That's I believe in John Henry, and we all believe in him. And Phillips and also Aiden English are like just selling that. It was cool, and Moose put always good matches. His like personality, everything that like I love Moose. To me, he should be like fighting for like other type of title. I don't know why he's in this like Digital Media Championship.
This to me is kind of where the show a little bit like I don't want to say fell off, because Joe Hendry, I like, the gimmick maybe not so much, but I mean he's a good wrestler, has a decent look. Moose is still the biggest. If you say who are the top 3 stars in Impact Wrestling right now, I'm still going to say Moose is up there.
Yeah.
Even though Moose is in the same spot as Drew McIntyre right now.
Yes.
Where it's like you're clearly one of the top stars, but we can't just always focus on you, so we got to focus on these other guys. So now you're kind of just here doing nothing, but we still want to have you on TV because you're one of our top guys.
Yeah,
because he's
absolutely
doing nothing, feuding for a belt, which, hey, guys like Brian Myers held it. I think Jordynne Grace held it.
Cardona.
Rich Swann. I mean, some really good, talented people who I like held this belt. But this belt is essentially meaningless. It's the 24/7 title of Impact. I mean, I think it's more prestigious than the 24/7, which, I mean, pretty much anything is. But, I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's not like a television championship dating back to 40-something. No, it's a belt that they just made up. And really, Moose is going after this. So that's dumb. He wins it. I think, okay, whatever. Moose has a belt that adds to his resume. And then somebody who I absolutely hate comes out. Santino Marella comes out. And this is the stupidest thing. He's stepping in as like the Impact head of authority because Scott D'Amore's out of there. He's injured, whatever storyline. Then he said, no, I saw what's going on. This is bullshit. He goes on and on and on. Instead of just saying, I'm going to restart the match, he tries to get himself over, which, dude, you were never able to get yourself over in all these years. It's not going to happen now. Stop trying. So he says, restart the match. Joe Hendry wins. You know what I mean? It's just, this is kind of where
that was dumb. Absolutely. I wanted Moose to win. And, the only thing I can tell you about that is like, I guess he owns his name. He somehow was able to own his name because, Santino Marella, he will not come out as Santino Marella. So I guess, and again, like you said, like Impact starts with seriousness. They got, it's like, let's do a pro wrestling pay-per-view. Let's be legit. Let's keep like the seriousness going. And then you go, boom, you drop the ball with this stuff like that. I mean, that's when, like, to me, like Moose to put him on the role of this just for like Henry to just win the title again.
What does Santino? I can't think of that. Do you remember that great Impact moment?
Yes.
Where Santino Marella came in and, he beat up Kurt Angle and Sting in a triple threat to win the Impact title? No, I don't remember that. Do you remember when he ended Samoa Joe's undefeated reign in Impact? No, I don't remember that. What does he have to do with? Why should I pop and be, oh my God, Santino Marella when he comes out on Impact? I don't do that.
He's very desperate.
I don't do that.
A guy that like
WWE.
Is like exactly go back there, do the Cobra there.
But nobody pops when he does it in WWE. That's the place you would expect, if anywhere, he's going to get one. Not here.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of popped because all the fans are marks, and maybe they even played crowd noise just to make it seem like they popped. I don't know. But to me, it was dumb. This hurts Moose. And, I don't want to say, oh, do Moose and Alexander again because you've done that. But eventually you got to do something with this guy, or
he signed like 2 more years of extension of his contract. So like again, at some point he has to be number 1 contender, be champion one more time. Because like you said, other than that, what are you gonna do? And now we're gonna talk about like now the number 1 contenders match for the Knockouts Championship. Fatal 4-way. This was good. I liked it. I want to hear your thoughts about it. But like seriousness. And all the 4 girls right here know to put good matches. And see, for example, this is the same issue that I find in Moose with Deonna Purrazzo. Remember the long reign that she had, all the stuff that she beat almost every girl in the division. Now, what do you do with her when she has another like year and a half of a contract? At least you found something for her to do that like means something. Islamovich is really, really good in the ring, and the character is a bit dark, a little bit of Abaddon. A little bit of Abaddon and Nikki Cross. If you put them together, that's like Slamovich right there. And Killer Kelly, like she's really good. The character I like is solid. Taylor White kind of being now like a witch. Taylor Wilde, like everybody just loves for like the nostalgia from the Impact days, like the TNA days. So what did you think? But like to me, pretty good, like solid fatal forward.
Yeah, I mean, Slamovich they're definitely building her up to be, the yin to Jordynne Grace's yang, whatever. Okay, who's going to be the big monster to step up to the other big monster? It's her. We saw them fight before, but they're going to want to do that again. They're building it up. And clearly they're building her up because of, the winner of this match. But I like this. Killer Kelly coming back after a couple months. That's cool. Like you said, she's talented. She's a name from the indies. Okay. This is something, and she's talented. Taylor Wilde, like you said, she's good, the nostalgia, but she can still go. It's not like she's in there and she looks like
she still can put a good match.
She's good. Deanna, to me, is the star. And, Masha Slamovich is the one they're pushing. But to touch on the one thing you said with Moose and Deanna, and I've said this before in the video a while back, and I'm sure I've said it before that as well, is the thing that really sucks with these contracts and that all these wrestling companies don't work together is like, okay, we just had a run with Deanna. We don't know what to do with her. Hey, WWE says, hey, we'll take a run with her. We'll feud her with Charlotte for a couple months. We'll feud her with Bayley. And then when we're done with her, we'll send her back to you. Okay, legit.
Yes.
That's how people stay fresh. Like you said, Deanna's a star, so you can't just not have her on TV.
Or not have her on the pay-per-view.
You can't just have her run the main event, because then all these other women and all the fans will go, well, what the hell? This is dumb. She wins every time, so you got to rotate it, but obviously you want to feature her. So she's in here. So I don't, that's why I get why they do it, but I wish these companies and everything would all kind of work together. And that's the one thing that is kind of nice with like a Tony Khan, how he's a Ring of Honor. Maybe when they get their TV deal, that'll kind of do something. Maybe Impact will work with them. Hopefully they kind of weave their own little web there. So that's something. But no, I thought this was good. I really didn't know who was going to win, because we already saw Masha. She had her match against Jordynne Grace. And I'm thinking, well, who's going to win this? Because you got to think whoever's going to, obviously who wins this is going to feud. And I'm thinking, well, who's babyface, who's heel? So then when Masha won, I'm thinking, okay, I guess she's babyface because they're pushing her. They kind of push her. So I'm thinking, oh man, does that mean Jordynne Grace is going to win? So they kind of had me thinking Jordynne Grace was going to win, with the winner of this. But I mean, the ending of this match was hot and heavy. Boom, everybody's hitting all their big finishers, the big moves. But it's whoever hits the big move last is usually the one who wins. So.
And they had the submission going on right there. Both of them. Like Deanna had like the, the Fujiwara armbar, and then Taylor had like the crossface, and then you got to see like a Masha doing like a suplex, and like on top of like all the girls, and then she was able to pin them. Really good stuff, and she's #1 contender. I'm looking forward for this again. Impact to me always, like the knockouts division's always been good. They have a lot of girls that can go. Like you said, they use the indies. Pretty like Killer Kelly, she's good. Like I see that like her moment will come. She has a lot of opportunities. Now let's talk about Falls Count Anywhere in Atlanta. Rick Swann against Steve Macklin. I see Macklin being the next #1 contender for Josh Alexander. They have a lot of faith in this guy. And we got to say, like, being the husband of Deanna Purrazzo helps out. Hey, she can be like, hey, help out my man, give him an opportunity. He's legit. He's not bad in the ring. He can actually go and all of that. But, like, did you like the match? To me, it was decent at most. I didn't, I mean,
you're gonna laugh. I was just gonna say, finish your thought then.
Oh no, it was just mostly on the outside. Rick Swann never seemed like he was gonna have an opportunity, so it was mostly Macklin like for the 75% of the match, and then a little bit of Rick Swann like the cutter that he did, but pretty much when Macklin wanted like to just put him away, he did.
Yeah, and I think what did he hit, like a DDT kind of
like on a table, yes.
Yeah, or on the outside on the ramp, because or something like that, because the ramp, it was like level with the ring and everything. And to me, the best part about this match was Raven on commentary.
Oh yeah,
they're fighting in the outside. Raven goes, "I hope someone gets hit by a car. That'd be cool." I mean, just like the stupidest shit he would say. And he's just like, "Oh man, like look at them. They're fighting all over." Like just the stuff he would say because of how robotic. And WWE, the other two sound, which here he goes again talking about commentary, but
But you're right though.
he comes in and he just sounds so just completely
Natural.
different and funny. And I mean, Raven was great here. Obviously, he was out here because it's a falls count anyway. It's kind of like a Ravens rules match, from the old TNA days and everything. I mean, this was Raven was great on here. To me, he was the best thing about it. I'm glad that they're pushing Macklin. Like you said, this is a way because you need to push heels. If Rich Swann would have won, okay, is he going to go after,
George Alexander,
Josh
no.
Alexander? No, because we already have the baby face, who's going after him, and Frankie Kazarian. He already
Yes.
called that shot earlier. You don't want two baby faces to. There should, if you're going to do a baby face, it should just be one guy. It shouldn't be two. All multiple. To me, that's not good. So this was good at Macklin win here. This was unfortunate. I think with this match, there was no title to it. There was no. I don't want to say none of these guys are stars because that would be not true, but none of them are stars. You know what I'm saying? None of them are. Who was the big name in this match?
Yes, yes.
There really
Because
wasn't.
Rick Swann was after the thing with Omega. That was it. Remember that
Yeah,
that whole
yeah.
feud. But after that,
And I mean, to me, the biggest person in this whole thing was Raven on commentary. Like I said,
Yeah.
that he's the biggest name. Not that he stole the show, because if the in-ring action was good,
yes.
but you thought it was just two random guys fighting each other because they were in street clothes and everything. But I mean, they beat the hell out of each other. It was good, but unfortunately, no title, no nothing like that. I think kind of hurt it, and maybe just the placement on the card.
Yeah, no, like I agree with you. Like I just didn't enjoy this, as much as like maybe like the fatal four-way with the girls. I didn't like the tag team titles or like Bully and also Josh Alexander. So Macklin gets the win. So most likely he will be the #1 contender for the Impact Championship. Let's go to a match that like it had a like most rivalry because of the background of Ring of Honor, the returning Octopus Jonathan Gresham going against Eddie Edwards. This, was good in the aspect of being like for me the technician that Gresham is. The power, but at the same time like the different style that he puts on the ring. And then Eddie Edwards is Impact owned, but like he has a past with Ring of Honor, so that was cool in the rivalry. Tell me your thoughts. I just like again, I just want to emphasize in that how Gresham, despite of like the guy can be bigger than him, can be smaller, whatever. I mean, I don't know if you can be smaller, maybe just my height, but like despite of that, he continues to do the same type of wrestling, mad wrestling, or just like the pure rules. Like he continues to do that. So like, did you enjoy this? Because for me, it was interesting to see the fact that like he keeps that concept alive in the match.
Yeah, I mean, Gresham is good in the beginning of this thing. Like you saw Eddie Edwards. They said this guy was a legit wrestler. He's so good, but now he just wants to brawl. He wants to fight. This and that. Attitude change. They even said he's not even talking to his wife, or they're like, obviously storyline, everything.
And storyline with Alicia, yes.
But this was good. Gresham kept wrestling him, kept taking advantage and controlling the match with the wrestling skills. But eventually, Eddie Edwards, he took over and stuff. But I mean, this was good. I enjoyed this match. Both of these guys are super talented, even though they're not the biggest dogs in a fight. But again, the match that you had before it, and then you had this match, that kind of hurts the placement there. Maybe you want to put a women's match in between to break it up. Maybe you want to do some kind of long segment because it's two singles matches between two guys.
No title.
There's no title, and they're fighting on the floor, and they're doing the hardcore bumps. Not the second match as much as the one before it. Definitely not. But, they're still doing stuff like that because that's just the theme of the whole show. And it happens in every match in every company regardless. But again, that kind of hurt it. So maybe you don't do the falls count anywhere, and this match seems better. And vice versa. Maybe if you didn't have this match, the falls count anywhere, looking back on the show, would have felt a little better. So that's just maybe something booking wise or just card placement wise you got to figure out. But this match was good. Jonathan Gresham, he didn't have his run in AEW. We heard about that a while ago, how that turned out poorly. So I don't think that's
really bad.
And I don't see him going to AEW. Him and Jordynne Grace, I think they're going to have a good spot here in Impact Wrestling. Impact, Scott D'Amore must have found money somewhere because he's re-signing guys and everything, or Impact's making money, which is always a great thing. So, this was good. I like this match. Like I said, just maybe the placement and this and that. And again, I want the people to comment, let us know what you think. But
yeah, and Paul, like to mention, like I mean, Eddie Edwards gets the win. So
yeah.
Boston knee crab. I mean, he kept it like also like he was able to adapt, like I said, to the style, but he also kept.
Oh,
it
the
with
Boston
Blue
knee
Thunder bomb.
party. the
Go ahead.
Boston Knee Party.
It was the knee, yeah, it was the knee party. I'm sorry, I always have to botch the names. But like, see, like he was able to at least keep out his own arsenal of moves, and then also Gresham comes out as like as a big name. Yet he loses to an Impact Zone. So that's also like again, I want to like emphasize that because it's cool that like you given the guys like belong to the house like opportunities and case like Eddie, do you win this one? Maybe we keep the rivalry going, and then Jonathan will win another one.
And then
Because
you had
Jonathan will
that.
always be fighting on Impact, but just with the pure rules. Now at least he's a regular member of the roster, so that's cool.
Yeah, and then you had the returning PCO, who Eddie Edwards apparently disposed of earlier, and then he comes back. It's crazy to think how like this guy's still going. He's still jumping off
Oh
freaking
yeah,
turnbuckles
and
onto
he's
people and
really
everything
like
else.
45, 48 or something
He's
like
probably
that.
he's probably in his 50s. He's
Yeah.
probably older than that. He wrestled in what, WrestleMania 9, 10, something
Yeah.
like that. All the way back then. But I mean, it's crazy. So he came back. The crowd popped for that. He kind of made the save there at the end, and so that was kind of cool. But now you got to see if Gresham going to team up with him, and maybe go after Eddie Edwards and all them and all that stuff. But
And Gresham and him have a like big pass because of Ring of Honor, because PCO for some Ring of Honor. We usually comment about him and his titles. So you got the Sub-Zero look, all of that. So it was a good match. But like I said, play the placement, like you said, maybe, and the style of it is for people who love like us, like we understand professional wrestling. It's great, but not for everybody. So like you gotta have that specific taste for that. For like what it is, professional wrestling. Let's go to the main event. And actually, I love what you just mentioned about. It makes sense why they put in the main event. They made a huge deal about Mickie James. Is the last dance they were saying, and she's an advocate for like her roots of being like a Native American. They had like a dance going around. They had like all of that, and she was part of it. Like just paying tribute to her roots, to all of that, and to her offspring, all of that. I really like that, and her descendants and all. I enjoy that. And then Jordynne Grace, I don't know, like the heel. This was good. Like again, they made it feel special, and all of that to me, even they had me convinced that she was gonna lose. Because all of like big things like this, they don't do when you're gonna win. But so like that sold me on that. And then the match, the hard hitting from the top to the end. And Jordynne Grace, like both of them showing that they can hit hard, but they are technicians also. A lot of like near falls, a lot of like reversals. Really, really good. They had Mickie James' family on the, right there in the first row. So, Paul, what do you think?
yeah, I mean, this was great. In the beginning when I almost thought it was Samoa Joe's entrance because you heard the and the chanting and the dancing, and I'm like, huh? And I like looked because I was in another room and I heard it, so I came in because I thought I had time before the match starts. And then I thought, that's really cool. Mickie James doing all that stuff. You said, like, paying tribute to her Native American roots. Like they said, she never really celebrated on TV. She would more come out, the cowgirl hat, everything, the denim jacket, all that stuff. Never really the Native American side, but that was really cool because, hey, maybe this is going to be the last time she has to honor that part of her life. So, that was really cool. Like you said, Jordynne Grace, you got to talk about Jordynne Grace. Look at her 3-4 years ago to compare to now. She looks like she's a Greek goddess, chiseled that marble. I mean, complete transformation. She, so you got to give her all the props in the world for what she's done to her body, and just the work she's put in.
Yes, she's a bodybuilder, like she's like just trying to win those competitions also, like, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, she, fantastic stuff there, so this match was good. It was almost like a David and Goliath kind of thing, just because of how big and strong Jordynne Grace is. But Mickie James ain't no slouch. But it was just, you got to give that much credit to Jordynne Grace. But this was good, like you said. I mean, she would go for a power bomb, and oh my God, you think she's gonna kill Mickie James, and she'd turn it into a Hurricane Rana or something like that. And throughout this match, she said 6-time WWE Women's Champ. One of the biggest feuds of the year for that year that she had was with Trish Stratus.
2006.
Yeah, they're talking about all the accolades, and I like that. They were like, screw it. We don't care if it's another company. We're going to mention her accolades. So that was really
I
cool.
do like that. I do like that. You got to acknowledge their history, so, yeah.
I mean, like you said, hard hitting, and there's a time where Mickie James would try to have a hold on Jordynne Grace, and Jordynne Grace just stood up and just walked to the ropes and just was like, yeah, screw you. I'm just going to outpower this. So they're really trying to get over her strength and everything. Fantastic match. You said the family was there that added to it. Because, and you didn't know. And also, the fans that are kind of smart, then Mickie James is old school.
Yes.
So she might be the type of person that goes, I'll put Jordynne Grace over in this match to get her legit, to make her
to
that
leave
top.
also to like give her like the rub, like you said, like not the rub,
Yeah.
not even the rub, like just leave like you said, old school way.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people now, if they retire, they'd say, no, I want to retire and win my last match.
Yes.
And it's like, no, but the old school way, you gotta, your last match, you should be looking up and seeing the lights. You shouldn't be getting your hand raised. But so hopefully that means this isn't Mickie James' last match, because, even though the only problem I had with this match, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, is that, she had Jordynne Grace had her like in the choke. You thought, oh my God, it's done. Like after a couple reversals, you thought Mickie James was going to roll her up, but then she got her in the choke. And I think now I don't know what you think, because she tapped like,
yeah,
like I'm done. I'm done. That's not like like I'm hitting you or I'm trying to whatever. Yeah. And the ref was like, whoa, what? I'm going to call it. And then Mickie James quick like kicked out, or Jordynne Grace let her go. They did something to kind of just quick not being choking her anymore, so the ref wouldn't call it, and they kept going to some action. I almost think Jordynne Grace really had that thing fucking cranked in there, and Mickie James was like, yo, you're legit.
You're really choking me. You're really choking me. You're really, and that's why she had to tap it. But and then they realized, well, that's not how the match is supposed to end. I agree with you. And Jordynne Grace can do that, because like all the power
when
that
you're
she
that
has,
strong. Oh yeah, that's like they say, like the Steiners. They call her Big Mama Pump. You want to compare her to Scott Steiner? And like they said, the Steiners, man, some of them, they didn't know how, they were stronger than for their own good. They just. So I think that's what it was. I think there was that scare when she got knocked out against Asuka a couple years ago or whatever that was.
Yeah.
So you never, Mickie James. You don't want to play around, especially with head injuries, everything like that. So that's what I think that was. I'm sure. There might be, somebody might say, or there'll be some dirt sheet reporting on, the real reason why she tapped or whatever the hell. So we'll find out, I'm sure.
And then we will talk about it.
Yeah, but I mean, this was good. I liked the match. She got out of that, but she would hit the Mick kick and the DDT, and then Jordynne Grace would kick out. Oh my God. And you thought it's done. But then she's set up in the corner. Grace goes to charge her. She ducks. Grace hits the turnbuckle or the ring post. Oh, I'm done. Selling it. She hits the DDT, the tornado off the turnbuckles. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I popped because I thought, oh my God, she's going to kick out of this. And then how is Jordynne Grace going to win? Because I just thought, they're really going to build her up, because you're going to have Slamovich going to be the one to dethrone the undefeated, the monster Jordynne Grace. But nope. 1, 2, 3. Mickie James wins. Man, it was great. You had the family come out.
Victoria or Tara. She was right there. They hugged. They were crying.
Yeah, I mean, I assume her son came in the ring. She picked him up, was carrying him and stuff. I mean, it was a great moment for Mickie James. I joked to you. I said, where's Magnus or Nick Aldis? But like you said, with his contract, NWA, all that stuff, I can't be on TV. But
probably cannot be seen. Probably.
Like you said, just call him Magnus. That's a TNA character.
Exactly. Acknowledge your past. That's where they met.
But I mean, no, this was awesome for Mickie James. And what would you have rather seen? Josh Alexander, holding up, oh, I retain my Impact Championship? Or would you have rather seen this? Mickie James, my career ain't over, bitch, because I'm the Impact Knockouts champion.
Absolutely. No, and if you think about it, Paul, like Mickie James, and this is the second year in a row that like she's main event Hard to Kill. Last year she did the same thing, but like that was with Deonna Purrazzo, where they had the Full Metal Mayhem match, and then she also like won the match, and I think she won the title. So like there you go, and like she's had a good feuds. Like she's able to reinvent herself and keep herself current. But now with the career is the whole storyline. Before it was the big rivalry that she had with Deonna. So there you go. And then in the end, I mean, she keeps winning the championship because she's still able to go, like in your own words. She still can put good matches. She sells for people. So why not? So like we said, now what's next is now Slamovich. So if she's gonna lose, then the career will be on the line also. Only time will tell. But at least she had her huge moment right here. I feel that like Impact has done so much justice to Mickie James, and I wish that WWE will do the same for her. But they never did that. So at least Impact recognizes she was like I think 9-time or something Knockouts champion, and also she got all the accolades for Mickie James. So pretty nice way to close the show, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, and Mickey James always got that respect, and I think from not just the organization, but really from the fans, because no matter where she goes, she's always going to be hot, she's always going to be sexy, but WWE was really just banking on that, and or the goofiness, or then they were calling her fat, which is ridiculous, all that stuff, the Piggy James and that
Yes.
bullshit, but then she goes to Impact, and like I said, she's still hot, still sexy, still rides that sex appeal. But she shows, no, I'm a legit wrestler, I'm badass, and all this stuff. And I think that's really, where everybody came to love and respect her, fully. And I'm glad that that continues. And she's one of the people where, and Jordynne Grace too, Deanna, a lot of these women in this division, we're not the only ones who say Impact's women's division is good. They say it. Other podcasters, everybody else with eyes and knows what's going on.
David, to me, I will go ahead, Paul, and say that it's better than AEW. I will go and say,
yeah, oh, for sure. I would say they're definitely the number two, and behind WWE. And that's my thing is like, man, that's one I really wish. You want to say to do when they said, oh, do WWE's horsewomen versus the UFC. No, I want to see WWE's, whoever their horsewomen or their main four versus like Impact's main four.
For
like
example, like you said, Jordynne
Grace. Maybe Mickie can be the veteran leader, and like a Slamovich or whoever, versus like a Charlotte, a Becky, Bailey, and not Monet, but somebody, maybe Ray.
Not Monet anymore. They will have to grab like another one. They will have to grab, I don't know.
But you know what
maybe
I'm saying?
Bianca.
Like,
maybe Bianca or like
that would
Rhea
be
Ripley,
something.
but
That would be something awesome. That or some dream matchups there you'd love to see. But no, besides fantasy booking and all that stuff, great main event here. Impact Wrestling. Really looking forward to the next show.
So this one goes out in the books. Paul, thank you so very much, family, for being with us, for all the support. Don't forget to like follow us in all the social media that Paul is going to tell you. They're down there. It's easy to read right now, so I don't want any excuses. Just got to go and subscribe. Paul just mentioned it just for the sake of it, like what are they, and what else would you like to close the show?
Yeah, make sure you follow us, Rope Break, on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
You and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is